Hello, everybody. Welcome to our spring webinar. Excited that you all are here and hopefully going to learn some cool stuff today. What you can do with Laserfiche, some of the tools you can leverage that are already built into the application. And let's get started. So I'm Andrew Albers. I'll be your host today. Just a PowerPoint to go through here in the beginning. We have our standard housekeeping items. So as always, participants are on mute, but please put your questions into our question box and there'll be time in the presentation to answer your questions. If I don't get to your questions or don't know the answer, I'll make sure to follow up with you after the webinar today. We'll also be able to provide all slides and screenshots. You can request those if needed. And as always, this session is being recorded and this is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel library. So if you want to watch it at a later time, you can do that. So you don't need to take notes. And you can also forward that webinar link through the YouTube channel to any other internal staff that may be interested in this topic, but wasn't able to make it today. So thanks again for joining. And let's go over our agenda for today. So today we're going to show you an interesting little workflow with using Laserfiche for managing a mailroom in a digital fashion. So essentially here we have a hypothetical mailroom scenario where somebody in the mailroom will digitize the mail that's coming in for internal staff, and then they're able to upload that mail through the Laserfiche application and have that notify internal staff of any physical mail that's been received. So that's physical staff is notified via a Laserfiche workflow. They receive an email notification. So it's a really neat little workflow that we'll be showing today for that specific use case. We're going to also talk about how to use Laserfiche Snapshot. So that allows us to print to Laserfiche instead of using paper, right? So we're actually going to not have to rescan a paper physical document. We'll be just to scanning back into Laserfiche. We'll be able to use Laserfiche Snapshot to make that process more efficient. Then we're going to look at Laserfiche version control, which is available with the whole Microsoft Office suite of applications like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So it's a really quick way to save documents into Laserfiche directly, and then also allow you to do version control on those documents that may still be active documents that users are collaborating upon. And we're going to talk about how to save emails to Laserfiche directly through Outlook. I'm going to show you how to do a drag and drop process. And then we're also going to talk about how to do that automatically by leveraging Laserfiche import agent to monitor the mail server. And then we'll get into some of these demos, show you some live examples, take questions, and then go over our CDI and Laserfiche resources at the end. So let's talk through some of these features and functions that are available in Laserfiche. First, I wanted to touch on Laserfiche Snapshot. So if you don't know this already, Laserfiche Snapshot is a virtual print driver. It's included with all self-hosted and Laserfiche cloud applications. And it essentially allows you to virtually print a document into Laserfiche from an application that may not have a direct integration into Laserfiche. So a use case here is, for example, some users will want to print a document just to be able to scan it back into Laserfiche. But instead of doing that, you can use Laserfiche Snapshot. Laserfiche Snapshot allows us to virtually print that document into Laserfiche, allows us to add metadata to that document, name it correctly, and save it in the appropriate folders. So it's a really useful way of getting those physical documents, printed documents into Laserfiche electronically. Some other things Laserfiche Snapshot can do, so it can obviously generate images and text from electronic files, like those Word documents, web pages, really any application that you're working in. As long as that application has the file print function, we can go ahead and virtually print that document into Laserfiche. The application feature in Snapshot can extract documents, can extract text from all of those documents as well. And that text is indexed, loaded into Laserfiche, so then you can run searches in Laserfiche based on any text and within those snapshotted documents into Laserfiche. So this is a really neat little tool. I'll show you an example of it, how it works live in the demo part of the webinar. Let's talk a little bit about the Laserfiche Microsoft Office integration. This is also included as a core feature and within the Laserfiche ecosystem. So again, available with all of the self-hosted and cloud versions of Laserfiche. And essentially that integration enables a Laserfiche user to save documents, emails, and attachments directly to Laserfiche. The integration is compatible with the Office suite of products, so that includes Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook, and a PowerPoint. So it allows us, well, how does this help us? Well, it allows us to quickly send those files to Laserfiche directly from those applications. Again, you don't have to print things out just to go scan it back into Laserfiche. You can directly send those documents from those applications to the repository. You can update electronic documents already in your repository from within their native Office application. So this is very useful if you have a Word document users are still collaborating on. You can open that document in Microsoft Word, and in the Word application, you can use the Laserfiche ribbon and within that application to be able to update any metadata. For example, you can change the template, add any additional index values. You can create document links, tag documents as well. You can do all of that from Microsoft Word and have that be saved into Laserfiche. So very useful. You can easily attach documents from Outlook into Laserfiche as well. This can be done through a drag and drop process or leveraging the email archiver tool that's built into Laserfiche Import Agent. You can also take advantage of Laserfiche metadata, versioning, check-in and check-out features without closing your document. So that's, again, that's available in that Laserfiche ribbon and within the Office application that you're working in. And I'll show a demo of this as well, show you how it works live. It's really cool. All right, let's expand a little bit on Laserfiche version control. So this is extremely useful if you have documents in Laserfiche that are not yet the final archived copy. These will be documents that users are still collaborating upon, generally Microsoft Word documents, Excel documents. Those are still the living, breathing documents where we want to manage version control. But really in Laserfiche, you can track versions of any document that's stored within the application. So version control is the capability to save documents without overwriting the document or losing that document's history. When version control is enabled on a document, modifications of that document will be saved as new versions, with older versions of the document also retained in the document history. So in Laserfiche, there's a really nice tab for viewing that version history. I'm kind of showing a little bit of a preview of that on the right side of the slide. You can see exactly how many versions of a document you have, and then when changes were made, by who, and what was changed. So we'll show you again also a live example of version control to show you how that works, how it can improve your collaboration on documents in Laserfiche that are still, active documents stored in the solution. Saving emails to Laserfiche. So one way of doing that is doing a manual drag and drop. You can go to Outlook, you can open Outlook, you can select an email, you can just drag that email directly into Laserfiche. So that's one simple way of saving those emails to Laserfiche. But more interestingly, you can use Laserfiche Import Agent to automate that process. So with Laserfiche Import Agent, what we have available in the solution itself is the email archiver option. So this tool is used for automatically importing files into the Laserfiche repository from a Windows folder. It can be enhanced with the included Laserfiche email archive tool that enables automatic import of emails from a mail server. So Laserfiche Import Agent does a number of things. It can import documents that may reside on a public folder on on the network somewhere, for example, it can monitor those folders, bring any documents from within those folders into Laserfiche. It can also monitor local folders on the user's workstation if there are any documents saved within those folders outside of Laserfiche. Laserfiche Import Agent monitors those folders as long as when it notices a new document into those folders, it can then send that document over into Laserfiche. But additionally, that email archive option is great because it can also monitor folders on the Exchange server for any new emails. Once those emails come in, the archive tool can go ahead and recognize that emails have been received and file those emails into Laserfiche based on predefined conditions. So we can set various mailboxes we can monitor on the Exchange server, and then the rules based on what do you do with those emails once they've been received. How do you want to file those into Laserfiche? Are they part of a client file, perhaps? Do they need to go to a specific user? So we have those conditions we can set up in Laserfiche and have those emails be processed and sent to Laserfiche automatically. Also, the email metadata can get automatically assigned and imported into the Laserfiche repository along with any attachments as well. So I have a pretty interesting use case example of that here. So let's go through that real quickly here. So let's just pretend an organization needs to keep all incoming client messages in Laserfiche. They're storing their client files, right? Then they have emails that come into a general email address. And what we want to do is process those emails that came into that general email address based on which specific client they may relate to in our Laserfiche system. So by setting those rules in the archive tool, we can let the system know to file those emails into that specific client file based on the metadata of the email. So the system's able to recognize where that email needs to get filed and automatically get filed into that specific client file folder without any user interaction. It's all done behind the scenes, and the system gets updated with those new emails as they come in. So really nice little tool that's included with Laserfiche Import Agent. Laserfiche Import Agent is an optional add-on on the legacy self-hosted applications. That's like your Avante and Rio systems, but with the new subscription license, it is included. It's also included with Laserfiche Cloud as well. So let's go through a couple screenshots of the configuration of what that looks like for the archiver tool in Laserfiche Import Agent. So we're able to set various profiles for importing using Laserfiche Import Agent. That's kind of a general overview here. And then we're able to further define our specific profiles and obviously our credentials for logging into that mail server. And then we're able to set our properties based on how do we want to process those emails, what metadata do we want to capture, what folder do we want to send those emails to into the Laserfiche repository, what do we want to do with the text, what do we want to do with attachments, do we want to convert any file types, do we want to keep original PDF files with the email itself? How do we want to file it into Laserfiche? So that's all available in the setup in the email archiver tool. A couple more slides here. We can also define our template properties as well. Generally, we want to assign an email template for emails, but we can define have tokens for like the sender, the recipient, and any additional metadata that we can gather from the email itself and get that all populated into the Laserfiche template and then filed into Laserfiche. We can also tag documents automatically. So document tagging in Laserfiche, if you don't know this already, you can assign tags based on specific documents, right? So you may have a tag for documents that need to be audited, right? Maybe some documents are part of a specific project and you want to have a specific project tag, so the system can automatically tag those documents with that project tag. The system can also do security type tags. For example, you can have something that's maybe a confidential document and you want to automatically apply the confidential tag, where users that only have the right to see the confidential tag are able to see that document in Laserfiche Anybody else that doesn't have that right won't see that document. So tagging is also something we can automate with the email archiver tool as well. So that's kind of a brief overview of what the setup of this looks like, the archiver tool and Laserfiche import agent. So let's get into some live examples here. So first off, let's go ahead and start with our fun little mailroom demo here. So I have two interfaces here. I'll kind of alternate today. I have the Laserfiche client application, and I also have the web-based interface here for us. And here I have a incoming mail folder. So this is the folder that in our hypothetical mailroom scenario, the person receiving the physical mail in the mailroom will then use this folder to scan into this folder, right? There's a workflow running here behind the scenes that monitors this for any new incoming scans. And once those documents come in here, we're able to use the Laserfiche workflow to then process that document and have it be distributed based on who the mail is for, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna do a simple drag and drop into this folder, just pretending this is a scan, but we can do just a simple drag and drop in here as well. So we'll do that here. And here's where we're telling the workflow what to do with this. I have to make sure I assign the correct template. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we want to assign the name, right? So this, we want to tell the system who this mail is for. So, that physical mail we just scanned. So let's go ahead and say this is for Angela. Now what happens here, this is what this is going to do. This is going to create a new folder for Angela in our mailroom folder. It's going to also send an email notification to Angela. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Let's go ahead and have the workflow process this for us here. This is going to happen pretty quickly. If I refresh, this should be moved by the workflow, and it's been moved. Let's go ahead and just do another one here as well, another example. Just assign it to somebody else. Let's go ahead and make sure we select the correct template, and let's just select a different user, right? These are our employee names, so we have a drag and drop list of all of our employees that we can send mail to and notifications to. So this one's for Oscar. Click OK here, and let this one process here as well. So it's been processed here. Let's just give it a couple more seconds. Workflow sometimes needs to catch up here. Should be pretty instant generally. Well, that one's lagging a little bit, but let's go ahead and go to our mail room under mail. So what it did, it created those two folders that we told it to create for our internal employees that are receiving their mail. So for Oscar, we have that folder here, and that document has been moved there now. It's also able to then rename it, right? So you'll notice the name of it here. I just called it mail demo here on my desktop folder here. But in Laserfiche, we're able to rename documents, and we're also then able to also attach the metadata to that mail as well. So that's the metadata that was filled out. But more interestingly, our recipients are then notified too via email. So in this little hypothetical mailroom scenario, our recipients are notified, hey, you have new mail and it's been digitized for you, and you can go ahead and view it from this link. So they could access that from their email. If they also have the Laserfiche mobile app, this can open in the Laserfiche mobile app. So if they're out of the office, but they still want to see their physical mail, they can go ahead and use that Laserfiche mobile app, access it through that link here, and view that mail in Laserfiche. So same thing happened for our other recipient as well. So notifications are sent. So again, this is just a fun little workflow that we set up, kind of show you how you can set up Laserfiche workflows to help you with some things that may be kind of a simple process, but it may be useful. Again, this is just a hypothetical mailroom scenario. So hope that was helpful, just to give you an idea of how you can leverage some Laserfiche workflow for some of your internal processes. So now let's look at Laserfiche Snapshot. So this is our virtual print driver into Laserfiche. So again, the use case for this is some users that don't know Snapshot exists will literally be in an application working in an application, right? And then they want to save that to Laserfiche and they don't know how, right? So sometimes they'll print it just to go scan it right back in. So for this demo, I'm going to open up a PDF document here. Let's go ahead and open up a PDF document here. And let's virtually import this into Laserfiche through the snapshot driver. So Adobe Acrobat doesn't have a direct integration to send documents into Laserfiche, but we can leverage the snapshot functionality. So as long as, again, that application has that file print feature, we can go ahead and select Laserfiche Snapshot as our print driver. When we select print, we open up a Laserfiche Snapshot, and it will allow us to name the document and do some additional or add some additional properties to that document. So we can rename that document here. Let's just call it Snapshot Demo. Here we can select where we want to send that document. This will open up our Laserfiche repository. We can navigate directly into the folder that we want this to be imported to. I'll just import it into my own folder here. Now we can assign our template information. So for example, maybe this is a contract. We can apply our metadata here. Also, there's the tagging capability in Snapshot as well. So you could have it assign any of your tags in the system. So maybe if this was a confidential document, you can apply that confidential tag as well. Then you have document handling option. What do you want to happen with this document as it's being imported into Laserfiche? Generally, you probably want to create a new document, but you have additional options. You can replace pages in an existing document, insert it to wherever it needs to go if it's part of a document that already exists in Laserfiche. You can also set the text handling properties. So you may want to run the OCR engine on these imports. So this will just extract text from the image of this document and upload that into Laserfiche. And then when you hit OK, it's going to process and get imported into Laserfiche for us without us having to print it. So this is really useful for legacy applications. Maybe you're working in an old system where there's really no way of getting anything into Laserfiche directly. So you can, as long as it has that file print function, you can go ahead and select that and print that into Laserfiche virtually. So let's go to our main folder here. And so there's that document that's been imported into Laserfiche through Snapshot. You can go ahead and open that up here. So it loads the image of the document itself, and then our template information is populated here. And then also if we have the text extraction on, so it also did the text extraction there for us as well. So that's Laserfiche Snapshot. Really useful, I think. You know, a lot of people work with applications that don't have a direct connection to Laserfiche, and they're always asking, well, how do I get that document into Laserfiche without having to print it? That's how you do it. You use Laserfiche Snapshot. All right, let's talk about Outlook integration with Laserfiche. So how do we get emails into Laserfiche? Well, we can just do a simple drag and drop process from Outlook. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll open up Outlook here and then do a simple drag and drop. Let's go ahead and minimize this here a little bit. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and import this email here. This one here looks good. So again, we can just do a simple drag and drop. I just literally take an email, drag and drop it into the Laserfiche folder where I want that email to be imported. Now, this is the interesting part here because Laserfiche dynamically recognizes that this document we're importing in is an email. So it automatically assigns our email template. And then it's also populating the metadata from the email into our Laserfiche template. So for example, like the sender, recipient, any other metadata that you want to capture, as long as it's in the email itself, we can capture it into the Laserfiche template. If there are attachments here as well, they can also be stored in Laserfiche as part of the email or maybe as a separate document. We can also create any tags here that we need to as well. So those are our properties. And then when we click import, the email gets imported into Laserfiche for us. And there you go. You can do this as long as you have the license, as long as you have a full user license and you have the security rights to be able to import in documents into Laserfiche, and then obviously rights to what folder they need to go to as well. So there you go. When you open that email up from within Laserfiche, it does open up in Outlook for you. So really easy way to archive emails into Laserfiche, simple drag and drop. But as we talked about earlier in the PowerPoint section, you can set up the email archiver tool through Laserfiche import agent to do this automatically, right? Where emails can be automatically imported into Laserfiche based on specific criteria and conditions. So that's working with Laserfiche and emails. Now let's go ahead and look at the Office integration into Laserfiche. So Laserfiche has a built-in integration with the Office suite of products. Let's go ahead and open up Microsoft Word. Minimize a few things here. So I have a Word document here. Let's go ahead and work with this document. This is still a document we're collaborating on. It's not in Laserfiche quite yet, but we're gonna import this into Laserfiche through the direct Office integration. So in Microsoft Word and Excel and PowerPoint, we have the Laserfiche ribbon here. This allows us to send this document directly into Laserfiche, so we can go ahead and save it as a new document into Laserfiche. This opens up our Laserfiche repository here for us. So in the left pane here, I have all of my Laserfiche folders. I'm viewing these from Microsoft Word. So I can let the system know where I want this document to be imported. I can assign a new document name if needed here. So when you have it navigating to what folder you want it to import to, you can just simply click Save. And here is where you can set additional properties as far as the metadata. So we can assign our template here. Maybe this is also part of a contract. Assign our contract template. Maybe this is for HR, professional services. We can also assign tags here as well. So once we all have that set up, we can go ahead and hit OK. Now this gets saved to Laserfiche as a Microsoft Word document. So like Snapshot will save it into Laserfiche as a TIFF image. That's one difference with Snapshot. It saves it in Laserfiche as an image file. But in Microsoft Word or the Office suite, when we leverage the integration, it's going to save it into Laserfiche in its native format. So this again was a Word document saved in Laserfiche as a Word document. All right, so this is in Laserfiche now. Let's go ahead and close this out. Go to our Laserfiche repository here. Make sure we hit refresh. So our document is in Laserfiche now. Now we can also enable to track changes on documents. So in Laserfiche, you can track changes. Obviously, you have version control, so we can track changes on documents. We can go ahead and enable that on a document level basis or on the whole folder basis. So what I can do is I can also go to this folder and enable to track changes for any new documents arriving in within this folder. So as soon as a Word document comes in here, I can start tracking any changes to it as those changes are made. But I can also enable it just at the document level itself, which I'll do now. So we'll start tracking versions here. So now we have version control enabled. We can leave comments for our different versions. We can assign version labels. Let's go ahead and just create a comment for our initial version here. So now that it's in Laserfiche, we can go ahead and open this document and track any changes being made to it. We'll let Word open up here for us. All right. So we can add additional text. Now, the cool part here is with this ribbon, now that this document is in Laserfiche, we can also add any additional metadata to this document directly from Microsoft Word. So if we go under that Laserfiche ribbon, under the metadata section, this will do a lookup into Laserfiche and allow us to update any metadata here. Maybe now this document, it's part of finance. So we can update our template information here. We can also update any tags. We can also create document links. So if you don't know this, in Laserfiche, you can create document links. Generally, these are links for documents that may have some kind of a relationship, for documents that are stored perhaps in different folders in Laserfiche, but as long as they have a link, it can be viewed directly from the link tab in Laserfiche. So some clients will use this for like purchase orders and invoices. Those obviously have a relationship, so those can be linked together. Or if you work for local government, like a city perhaps, you may want to link like your agendas and minutes together. So you can go ahead and do that here, create those link relationships. I'm not going to update anything. I'll just click OK here, but I did make changes to our text here. So when we go and exit Microsoft Word, Laserfiche recognizes that changes have been made. So we can save this as a new version in Laserfiche. So now that's been updated in Laserfiche. And I'll switch over to the web client to show you a different view here. So we'll go to our web client here, make sure we refresh. So there's that version document that we were working with here. If I highlight that document, you'll notice that the system lets us know we have 2 versions of this document here. And when we click the actual versions, we get a little preview of what those changes were, who made those changes, and at what time. We can select 2 different versions, and we can compare the versions. So this gives you a little bit of a preview, a little bit of a deeper preview of what was changed, but you can go even deeper than that. You can click compare changes, and this is going to open up Word for us and let us view those 2 different versions of that document. Eventually. There you go. There you go. So you have a deeper view into that version history for this specific document. You can do the track changes, version control in Microsoft Word. So you have that version history available in Laserfiche. You have, obviously a little tab here where you can see exactly how many versions of a document you have, when changes are being made, by who. This is also available in the audit trail report, so you can run audit trail reports on version history of documents in Laserfiche. Let's go back to the client here. I did want to also show check-in and check-out capability because this is part of version control. Because if you don't enforce check-in and check-out, anybody can make changes to this document even simultaneously, which is something you may want. But if you want to prevent that, you can enforce check-in and check-out. So for example, if I go and check out this document, this is going to lock it for anybody else, right? So maybe I can leave a comment here for somebody else to kind of know what's happening with this document. Editing over the weekend or something, just to let people know what's happening with this. Click OK. Now this document is checked out. You'll notice there's like a little pencil icon over this here. So I checked it out. I'm going to be making edits to it. Anybody else that wants to access this document can still view it, but they just can't make any edits to it. And if that additional person comes and tries to open this document, they can open it for viewing, but they'll notice that it's checked out by somebody, so they can't make any edits. There's also a little bit of more of an in-depth history on that document under our check-in and check-out properties here. We have additional details available. So here they could see that comment that I just made here, right? I checked it out, making edits to this, and then they see when it was checked out and by who exactly. So this can be very useful to prevent simultaneous edits on documents. Then once I go and check it back in here, just hit OK. You'll notice that pencil icon has been removed. Now this document has been checked back in, and anybody else can go ahead and edit this document, and you have that additional capability here to do the additional checkout process again here. If somebody else wanted to then check it out again, they can go ahead and do that here. And you also then have the version history here as well. This is the view of the version history. This is in the client application itself. Same idea as in the web-based client. You have a nice little dashboard. You can see exactly how many versions there are. So this document was updated with a third version because I checked it out as well. So that's Laserfiche check-in and check-out and version history. We talked about email. We talked about drag and drop of email. We talked about email archiver. We talked about Laserfiche snapshot. And we showed you our mailroom demo. So that's everything that was on the agenda for today. Hope that was helpful. Some of these tools can be really useful, and I feel like some folks don't know about these tools being available. So hopefully this was helpful for you all. Let's go ahead and finish up with any questions. Let's see if there are any questions. Let's go ahead and go to the chat here. No questions. Okay. I guess that's good. Again, if you have any questions you think of within the next few minutes, just go ahead and put them into the chat. They'll pop up in our summary email from GoToWebinar, and we can go ahead and answer those on an offline basis for you all. So no questions. Let's get into the resources. These are just some links you can leverage. Some of you already probably know these. Our YouTube channel library link here. Our fiche tips, this is on our blog. This is really cool. These are little tips on how to get the best out of Laserfiche, just quick little examples of things you can do in Laserfiche. Also sign up for our newsletter, so the link is there for that as well. And Laserfiche resources, their solution blog is available there. Aspire and CPP training, these are Laserfiche certification training courses you can sign up for. CDI is happy to sponsor our clients for these as well. So if there's something that interests you, let your account manager know. We can sponsor you to take these certifications. If you're new to Laserfiche, the getting started guides are great. And then if you want to look at Laserfiche integrations that are available on the solution marketplace, you can check that out there. And then also Laserfiche Answers, which is Laserfiche's forum to interact with their development and product team and get any technical questions answered as well. You can leverage that forum to do that. Here's my contact info. If you had any follow-up questions, you want to send me an email, you can go ahead and do that, and then contact info for our internal teams at CDI based on what you need. So support, sales, or consulting. So thank you all again. This was our spring webinar, and we'll see you in the next one.